Hello, Patriots. I'm at Restored Republic via a GCR update by Judy Byington. Monday, October 2nd, the Pentagon's clandestine military tribunal within Guantanamo Bay, AMG News. The debt clock keeps getting better. Our republic can be easily seen in the new categories. The new categories say USA instead of US. US is the corporate US government. USA is our republic. The new USA Treasury bonds, or Treasury dollars 2025, has a map of our nation next to the header. Zoom in. Our republic is outlined in gold. The US M2 money supply now is decreasing rapidly. This category has a pyramid and Federal Reserve dollars in the background. So we know it's the Illuminati and foreign elite. They're losing their money. However, the new category of US M2 dollars to USA dollars ratio now is 1776. Ha ha, hysterical. 1776, our constitutional republic. Welcome to Red October. Patriots, we are the greatest movement in the world. This is a fight between good and evil. God is on our side. Truth is on our side. Goodness and decency are on our side, and we will win. President Donald Trump. It is only wise to put away a month's supply of food, water, cash, and essential supplies for yourself and to share with others. Pressing forward toward Heavenly Father. We cannot expect our Father in heaven to make our problems disappear. Without friction, there's no forward motion. Without resistance, we build no strength. He isn't trying to trick us or trap us or trip us up. He wants us to be happy. He wants us to succeed. He so loved us that he gave us a Savior. In a world of discouragement, of doubt and discord, he gave us commandments to love him and to love one another. Our steps may be unsteady at times, but if they are steps toward him, the journey can be sweet, the destination glorious. Judy note, to be prepared. We are facing an impending global financial crash, including cyber attacks on banks. We can look out for the domestic terrorism of the U.S. Department of Defense, World Health Organization, World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, Pfizer, and Moderna. We live with a Democratic Party dark agenda that included allowing open borders. We are dealing with a global food crisis, and with the fiat US dollar now not accepted for international trade, we're headed for a Christmas season with major goods shortages. That's the least of our worries. Oh my goodness. On October 5th, 1582, much of Europe replaced the Julian calendar with the Gregorian calendar. The switch required the 10 days after October 4th to be skipped. That's October 5th, and then going forward 10 days, referred to as the 10 days of darkness. How interesting. Monday, October 2nd, Wolverine. Shelton said on his call that the 10 days of darkness and 12 days of disclosures would start after an event on Wednesday, October 4th. Monday, October 2nd, the clock ticks down. Government shutdown and an impending food crisis. Monday, October 2nd, Global Domestic Terrorism Military Intelligence website predicted in 2015 that 260 million people in the United States would be gone by the year 2025. Doctors confirm. What we think we know as of Monday, October 2nd, 2023. On Saturday, September 30th, the U.S. Congress diverted a government shutdown by borrowing monies from the Chinese Communist Party to fund themselves for the next 45 days. It has not been made public what kind of a deal the Democrats made with the CCP in order to keep the U.S. Inc. government going until November 15, 2023. October 1st, Sunday, was the beginning of the new fiscal year. We will have freedom from debt through implementation of a global currency reset or gold asset-backed currency. On Monday, October 2nd, Alex Collier received word that the National Guard has been deployed throughout the United States. 5,000 Starlink satellites were floating across the sky and ready for an emergency alert system. The EAS was not to be confused with the pending FEMA Emergency Broadcast System test, where the cabal planned to attack our phones, TVs, and Wi-Fi technology on Wednesday, October 4th, between 2 and 4 p.m. It was advised to turn them off during that time in order to avoid 5G attacks. Congressional U.S. Inc. President impeachment hearings have begun on Joe Biden, though Joe Biden was not really Joe Biden and has been played by several actors since his so-called inauguration in January 2021. He's a meat puppet. The real Joe Biden faced the noose in January 2021, just prior to his fake inauguration to U.S. Inc. President, after being charged and convicted of crimes against humanity by the military, which has been in charge of the American government since Trump turned it over to them after the 2020 election, that the military found to be ingrained in fraud. Congress, Biden arrested as military rescues tortured children from tunnels beneath Capitol Hill. U.S. Inc. was not representative of U.S. citizens, but a privately owned entity which took over and has controlled U.S. taxpayer money since 1913. U.S. Inc. was run and privately owned by bankers like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, the Crown Bank of London and Vatican. U.S. Inc. was broke. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2018, the so-called mortgage crisis, and were awarded the bankruptcy in 2020 case number 20-40375-KKS. The Internal Revenue Service, which collected U.S. taxes, was also privately owned by the bankers, as was the Federal Reserve. In 2007, Alan Greenspan, chairman of the Federal Reserve from 1987 to 2006, said that the Federal Reserve was an independent agency that was not a part of the U.S. government, was above the law, and could print as much money as they wanted with no one to stop them. That printing of fiat U.S. dollars has led to the Federal Reserve being shut down. In September 2023, the Fed laid off over 300 workers and was taken off the debt clock. The Fed building in Washington, D.C. has been wrapped entirely in white plastic with excavation going on beneath it. The Fed had planned to finance itself through creation of non-asset-backed digital currency, but that idea was shot down by Congress since the fiat U.S. dollar was defunct. The privately owned U.S. Inc. government operated under Admiralty law and not under constitutional common law, giving U.S. citizens no standing in their own court system. The reason the Brunson petitions on voter fraud in the 2020 election have not been heard, and the reason Ken Cromar of the Ken and Barbie versus Goliath IRS case sits in jail with no way to defend himself, even though he won his case in a federal tax court. He's a political prisoner, just like the J6ers. All of which and lots more would soon be explained and taken care of under constitutional guidelines upon activation of the emergency broadcast system that will broadcast worldwide with documentaries in 55 languages and 600 dialects on all channels on the planet, courtesy of the Alliance Space Force. A very different broadcast from the Wednesday, October 4th FEMA EAS test, as explained below. Warning. Word was that during the FEMA Emergency Broadcast System test on Wednesday, October 4th, the cabal had plans to attack our phones, TVs, and Wi-Fi technology. Absolutely do not participate. Turn off all devices, unplug all computers, disconnect all information technology from Wi-Fi between 2 and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, October 4th. I would also go outside and get far away from anybody or anything that is giving or receiving a 5G signal. I don't know, sometimes that's hard to do. If you go outside and there's somebody stupid out there with a phone they didn't turn off, then, you know, it's tough. it's tough to figure out what to do, but just turn everything off. And then some say put it in the microwave. Other people have like a Faraday cage or something they can put it in their smart stuff into. And just do the best you can. Emergency alert test is coming. When is the test and what will it say? Monday, October 2nd. Warning. October 4th, 2023. Preparing for the big SHTF, or just another test by FEMA. I'm guessing it's going to go off. I think it's, you're not going to notice the effects of it right away. That's what I think. It's going to seem like, oh, nothing happened. But if Todd Callender is correct in saying that it's going to initiate these little lipid nano envelopes to open up. And so then they will not be able to blame it on the FEMA test. So, and it's, even though, you don't see the effects right as it happens, I hope you don't, but we'll see. I think it will come, later. I think we'll start to see something manifest later, like another pandemic of Marburg or something like that. It's supposed to be Marburg, so we'll see. October 4th, FEMA Emergency Alert System. 5G frequencies and 5G towers were not designed to help with cell phone coverage, but were designed to be bioweapons. If you send out a certain frequency, such as found with 5G, over a minute, it will activate certain things in the body. A lot of people don't understand that connection with sound and physical manifestations. Like, think about this. Do you ever see an opera singer sing at a certain pitch and it breaks the glass, like a wine glass? Well, sound can be used that way, and it can affect people's bodies if the frequencies match up. It's a weapon. Those harming frequencies could be broadcast during the Wednesday, October 4th FEMA Emergency Alert System test for the U.S. Because of the dangers of frequencies that were ingrained in the Emergency Alert System test, it was advised to shut off phones, TVs, etc. between 2 and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, October 4th. White Hat Intel. The United States is under military control. This event has already happened. These operations and continuity of government is the principle of establishing defined procedures that allow government to continue its essential operations in case of a catastrophic event, such as a nuclear war. In the U.S., continuity of government is no longer limited to nuclear emergencies. The Continuity of Operations Plan was activated following the September 11th attacks. Moreover, these operations coincide with the Department of Defense military laws of war that can be activated through presidential powers, executive orders that execute and addresses military occupation, Chapter 11.3, Laws of War, Covert and Overt Military Operations. Trump, Musk, and Tucker Carlson were working together behind the scenes. The U.S. White Hat military is controlling the Supreme Court SCOTUS. The Brunson case is being saved for the exposure of a military coup that happened through 2020 stolen election. Possible global currency reset timeline. The Forex was down all Sunday evening, October 1st, and then came up Monday morning, October 2nd, with all values set to zero. Monday, October 2nd, Frank 26, all red, high alert. Monday, October 2nd, TNT Tony. It's all supposed to happen Monday night, October 2nd. Banks have told people they have given SKRs to that they will be liquid tonight, Monday, October 2nd. 3-letter agencies are saying after 3 p.m. Eastern, Monday, October 2nd, into the night. Tuesday, October 3rd is Iraq's Independence Day. And on Wednesday, October 4th, they are to be accepted into the World Trade Organization. Monday, October 2nd, Stacy. I was in my bank today. The manager told me he cannot divulge a date, but the change in currency, his words, has been updated today. The screens show Bolivar, Dong, and Dinar. He didn't know about the Zim bonds or agro checks, but there are 206 currencies on their screen now. They cannot exchange until they are given the go. The The software has completed and they tested the Delarue machine they have. Monday, October 2nd, Wolverine. I received a very important call today. I'm very emotional. All I can tell you is that we are ready. We are ready. This is definitely coming. Keep an eye on on your emails. Monday, October 2nd, Mark Z. I would say it's a high possibility that we would go this week. I have a number of contractor sources in Iraq who verify that yes, HCL money is indeed moving and people are getting paid, even in the Kurdish and northern Iraqi area where they have been waiting forever to get their salaries. One of my contacts said that he was told to hang on to as much dinar as he could as they were expecting a value change in the very near future. Near enough that a few sources are traveling back to Iraq later this week in the hopes that this is it for them. So to answer the question, is it possible this week? Well, things are sure lining up. I was hearing there was really strange military movement over the weekend. Reports from the National Guard and people being called up, being rearranged. Troop movements. Looks like something is gearing up. Bruce. According to instructions given to some redemption centers, Tier 4B could be notified to set exchange redemption appointments on Monday, October 2nd. Judy note. Intel received from a high-up source indicated that Tier 4B may not be notified until Friday, October 6th, with appointments starting the next day. Tuesday, October 3rd has been officially designated as the National Day of the Republic of Iraq to celebrate Iraqi freedom from the U.S. Inc. On that Tuesday, October 3rd, Iraq would likely declare that they were a sovereign nation. On that same Tuesday, October 3rd, the stock market was expected to continue to sell off, and when it hit 20%, it would be at the point of no return and close early. On Wednesday, October 4th, Iraq would be welcomed to the World Trade Organization with a fully reinstated Iraqi dinar international traded currency. Wednesday, October 4th was also considered the day when the official stock market crash would happen. A test on the worldwide emergency broadcast system has been scheduled for Wednesday, October 4th. Hal Turner, October 4th test of emergency alert system nationwide. No, it's not the zombie apocalypse. Monday, October 2nd, Wolverine. Shelton said on his call that the 10 days of darkness and 12 days of disclosures would start after this event on Wednesday, October 4th. By Tuesday, October 10th, the bulk of redemption appointments and exchanges were expected to be done. On Wednesday, October 11th, another possible EBS date with Biden removal, and that would kick off a 4-month military action. The second week of October, the restitution and reparation funds will be given out for seniors over 60 in a lump sum. For ages 50 to 60, they will be paid out over a 12-month period, and ages 30 to 49 paid out over a 15-year period. Bruce. The end of October, Sidney Powell has a date with the Supreme Court to present evidence on 2020 election fraud. On Wednesday, November 1st, it was the goal to have currency exchanges and ZIM bond redemptions completed, at which time the U.S. federal dollar would be considered worthless. In November, Social Security will be paid out in much higher payments. Bruce. The SSR&R payments start on a monthly basis beginning in January 2024. Bruce. And on January 1st, 2024, the fiat U.S. dollar will be worth nothing. Also starting January 1st, 2024, all currencies across the globe will be on par 1-to-1 with each other. Rumored GCR recent history, walking stick, an Iraqi citizen and bank owner. The tender for the currency and coins has been met per request, meaning requirements for release of the new Iraqi dinar exchange rate has been fulfilled. Wolverine, the funds have been released and placed on the quantum financial system. On Friday, September 15th, Iraq officially RV'd their dinar. On Friday, September 22nd, Iraq announced the new Iraqi dinar international rate as $11.90. On that same Friday, September 22nd, the quantum financial system took over the global financial system. On Sunday evening, September 24th, the QFS was activated with all funds gold-backed. On Thursday, September 28th, Iraq abolished the dollar in its currency auctions. Central Bank of Iraq. On Thursday, September 28th, a 10-day process began of an automatic increase in the value of the dinar, franc 26. On Friday, September 29th, the HCL oil payments to Iraqi citizens was being paid with an in-country rate of $5 plus. On Friday, September 29th was a dramatic beginning of the stock market crash. The Chinese Communist Party defense minister plus the CEO of the world's largest real estate company, the CCP's Evergrande, have gone missing. That halted Evergrande shares on a stock market that was already in free fall. while odds soared for a U.S. government shutdown by Sunday, October 1st, any or all of which could easily bring on a global financial crisis that would trigger a global currency reset. Sunday, October 1st was the first banking day of October in the Mideast and start of the new U.S. fiscal year. All banks were required to be on the gold asset-backed quantum financial system rather than the old fiat currency SWIFT system by Sunday, October 1st. On Monday, October 2nd, the Iraqi WS Bank U.S. branch was open for business. As the stock market reopened, sell-offs would continue. That was expected to trigger an early close of all trading until Tuesday, October 3rd in the morning. Global financial crisis. Monday, October 2nd, Jasara Nasara, the biggest transfer of wealth ever. We're never going back to the old system. AMG News. Monday, October 2nd, U.S. federal official says high interest rates likely for some time. This is the only way they can attract Treasury bond investors to fund the debt. But it's going to backfire massively. More expensive capital is going to accelerate the collapse by causing prices to increase at a time when most folks are already defaulting on their payments and the rest of the world is through financing or toxic debt. The real issue here isn't inflation or devaluation so much as de-dollarization. The Fed is trying to pull another rabbit out of their hat, but this time it won't work because we have shut down their illicit revenue streams that prop up the US dollar. Monday, October 2nd, dramatic shift in the global financial ecosystem. Global central banks abandoned the US dollar for glittering gold. The Great Gold Rush, AMG News. Why did the Central African Republic toss out Bitcoin? The Street Crypto, Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency News. Advice, analysis, and more. FTX exploiter moved over 17 million in ETH, is that Ethereum, in the last 24 hours. A significant portion of the 7,749 Ethereum, worth roughly 13 million, was directed toward the Thor chain router and railgun contract. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, RBZ, has announced its intention to introduce a new transactional currency called Zimbabwe Gold, ZIG, which will be backed by the valuable mineral resource. These gold-backed digital tokens are designed for transactional purposes to streamline payments. Monday, October 2nd, Tokyo, China, Reuters. Japanese stocks soared on Monday with the exporter-heavy Nikkei 225 share average buoyed by the yen's slide to its lowest point in nearly a year after the U.S. avoided a government shutdown. However, the rest of the region's equity markets were mixed, with Australia's oil and resource shares hurt by the decline in crude prices last week. Trading was also thinned by a market holiday in Hong Kong, while mainland China had been shut since Friday for the Golden Week holiday, which runs until the end of this week. That's German MEP Christine Anderson explained how CBDCs, in conjunction with digital ID, will be used to exert absolute control over the global population. If you don't comply, they will just shut down your bank account. And it's not like it hasn't happened before. Look to Canada. There were people standing up for their freedom, for their right not to get some unknown substance injected into their arms. They shut down their bank accounts, so if there was no cash, what are you going to do? They can just eliminate you with a flip of a switch. It's as simple as that. Update. The quantum financial system is here and it's turning everything we knew upside down. Changemakers 17. So here is my latest theory for the week. They always told us there would be no double dipping of currencies, meaning on is not going to RV before the other, so you can't use that money from exchange to go buy more currency. Iraq has their Independence Day October 3rd and admission to the WTO October 4th. They must reinstate their currency prior to the 4th, and in doing so, they make the currency intentional. If what we heard is true about the U.S. Congress repealing the Iraq War declaration last week, that means that was the final thing that needed to be done in the U.S. in order for U.S. banks to exchange the dinar. We have much hype about October 3rd and 4th with an EBS test, major Q deltas indicating everything from narrative ship to a Navy ship crashing and being bigger than we know. To me, it seems we will have a scare event around the 4th. We have had when we do have EBS lockdown, it could last 72 hours. Many prophets have prophesied that there will be a scare event, then exchange after. We have the biblical message of turning the table over on the money changers. Now that was written on the debt clock, appearing on the U.S. debt clock, all while the Forex is zeroed out and has all currencies added. Bank personnel have confirmed now seeing over 200 currencies on their screen, including dinar, bolivar, and ding dong. Ding dong. Monday, October 9th is Columbus Day and a bank holiday. We always heard the RV will be done on a 3-day weekend. To me, it seems it could be a scare event. EBS Wednesday on the 4th. We go into lockdown for 72 hours and we get RV notifications going into the weekend. The stock market will be blown up Monday. Whiplash always said it would literally be blown up and blamed on a CME when no one is in it. No stock without source, merge it into Stellar. The Q delta that says private exchange last is dated January 22nd. The other delta mentioning currency said think currency, think fireworks. September 11th was the Ethiopian New Year. 22 days later, bring us to October 3rd. It really seems it is all converging for this week into the weekend. Biden family corruption. 3 minutes ago, Jim Jordan made a huge announcement. Jesse Waters, did they really think we wouldn't find this? Jim Jordan on Biden treason, 4 key facts that will never change. Hunter Biden sat on Burisma's board. He was unqualified to do so. Burisma pressured him to get DC to act on policy issues in Ukraine, and Joe Biden did just that. The real news from Monday, October 2nd, 2023. Monday, October 2nd, live. Major arrestee code situation update. On Tuesday, October 3rd, Russia will conduct a nationwide nuclear weapons defense exercise. The strange thing about that is the timing. October 3rd, and then tomorrow that FEMA alert is going off too. So it's odd that they're all right next to each other. So that tells you that something is going on. 9/11, Zionists. Rothschild central bankers did it. 4,000 Israelis employed by companies housed in the World Trade Center stayed home from work on 9/11. They were warned in advance of the impending attack on the World Trade Center. So, I don't know. Joe Biden is not the real Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not the real president. U.S. Inc. filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy 2020 case number 2040375KKS. We are watching a white hat movie. The 2021 U.S. Inc. Joe Biden shadow presidency. Federal Reserve, your shire lasts. A few weeks ago, it was reported the Fed was laying off 300 workers. Last week, the Federal Reserve note gets taken off the U.S. debt clock. A couple of weeks ago, Wall Street suffered the worst losses since March this year, and they are seeing sell-offs at an alarming rate never seen before. On the 21st of September, both Federal Reserve and Bank of England paused interest rates at 5.25% to 5.5%. In September, Representative Tom Emmer introduces a bill to ban the Federal Reserve from creating a central bank digital currency, saying a CBDC is nothing more than a CCP-style surveillance tool that can be weaponized to oppress the American way of life. Fed President James Bullard resigned from the St. Louis Fed on the August 14th. In an interview in 2007, Alan Greenspan, who was the chairman of the Federal Reserve from 1987 to 2006, said that the Federal Reserve is an independent agency that is not a part of the U.S. government and is above the law, where the relationship between them doesn't matter. They can print as much money as they want and no one can stop them. Now they are digging 20 feet underground and it looks like a building site. Looks like they are digging the underground parking and tunnels. The Federal Reserve is currently draped in white plastic, tarping sheets. Is this really the end of the Fed? Will Stahl eyes have been on the BS government shutdown? Remember, about 5 months before his assassination, JFK signed Executive Order 110. This executive order would give back the American currency back to the American people by printing money backed by precious metals by taking power from the criminal cartel, the Federal Reserve. The U.S. corporation is now bankrupt. Gold has destroyed the Fed. They have no money. The Federal Reserve has sunk like the Titanic before our very eyes. They've been doing everything in their power to distract us, whilst the slavery system shatters into 1,000 pieces.